This is our Master Healer Mentorship Healing Circle, and you are invited if you are a member of my Master Healer Mentorship on Skool. And this will be recorded and the replay will be available. So, welcome to the Master Healer Mentorship Circle. I'm just going to introduce myself really quick. My name is Leah. I am a certified Reiki master for 15 years. I incorporate shamanic techniques. I've been a psychic for over 20 years. I was trained by my guides. In addition to my certification, I see energy and I speak directly to the angels and guides, my angels and guides, and I specialize in teaching you how to do the same, So you can see energy, hear your guides, and clear energy using visualization and live in your highest timeline for your greatest and highest good. So the name of my practice is Star Solaris. I spent the past 10 years, I've done retreats, workshops, classes, I've traveled, I've healed coast to coast. These are just some pictures from a little collage I put together of the past few things I've done over the past 10 years. And in this circle, we're going to be setting intention, doing the power of 8, and our sovereignty steps for psychic self-care. And then we're going to discuss your states of awareness. And then we're going to talk about the different resins and healing with resins and how it all ties together. So that's what we're doing today. So for starters, we're going to set intention. Deep breath in through your nose, out through your mouth. Bringing your attention in, and we're going to invite the divine. Now you can affirm this, you can think it in your mind, you can affirm as I state the intention, or you can say it out loud for yourself. But I call upon my angels and guides of the highest frequencies of love and healing to come and be present and assist in providing for me the most powerful and effective healing possible in this moment for my greatest and my highest good. So I've set intention for us. We've all set intention together because we're holding space together because this is a circle. So this is our power of 8, remembering that every intention is amplified by every additional person exponentially. So when we all hold these intentions together for each other, then we're going to have that amplified intention. So we've done our power of 8. And now we're going to do our sovereignty steps. So your sovereignty steps are your psychic self-care. We do these in every circle. It's your basic hygiene for your energetic body, and it consists of clearing out other people's emotional and mental energies from yours and retrieving your own personal energy while strengthening and protecting your energetic body with some grounding and shielding. So we're going to start our sovereignty steps. Deep breath in through your nose, out through your mouth. We'll start with our 2 function grounding and visualizing a cylinder that comes up to your waist. You have your own cylinder, your own grounding cylinder. And in the image, it's around her thighs, but you want yours to be more around your waist. Bring it up a little bit higher. Visualize your cylinder, and then you're going to draw your attention down and look for what's in your cylinder, because that's going to be revealing to you in visualization any accumulation of energies that's in your grounding that needs to be released. Now, you don't want your cylinder to be dense. Your cylinder is really just a representation of your grounding, your ability to release and draw up energy. But the 2 function. The first thing we're going to do is release. So drawing your attention down below your feet, in that area, below your feet. And if you find anything that needs to be dissolved, you're going to wash it out. And you want to really get a strong sense of flow. You want to have a flow down below your feet. You want your energy to flow down below your feet to wash out anything that's in your grounding. Okay. So drawing your attention down below your feet and releasing anything that's accumulating. And I'm going to scan all of your grounding for you after I guide you through. And the second, once you feel like you've released as much as you can into your grounding, then you're going to draw up earth energy to bring it up into your energy all the way up to the top of your head. And you're just going to circulate that earth energy throughout your aura. So bringing it up to your ankles, earth energy through your ankles, your lower legs, your knees, thighs, your hips, your waist, your shoulders, your arms, your neck, your head, all the way up over your head, just bringing up that earth energy from below your feet and up and around you. I'm going to check everybody's grounding. Chantel, your grounding looks great. Angie looks good. Allison looks good. Iris, you have really wide, strong grounding. Okay, now for our etheric shielding, imagining you're wearing armor, full body armor. And when you imagine that you're wearing armor, full body armor, you're opening up a conversation with your energy in visualization, speaking language of energy, to just tune in to like what's accumulated around your body or what dense energy have you created around your body to protect you from other energies in your environment. And that area can collect a lot. So when you're using the armor visualization, it's a good way to communicate to your energy and for your energy to communicate to you using an image. And the image is armor, because we do create armor around ourselves, energetically speaking. That does accumulate a lot. So if you visualize that you're taking off your armor, handing it to your divine team, that's a way of affirming that you're just willing to release any dense energy that's collected around your body. And then creating new armor that's stronger material, lighter in weight. You don't want it to be heavy at all. So stronger, lighter, brighter armor. And just creating all around you that stronger, lighter, brighter armor. It's an easy one. Now to clear psychic pollution. This is usually, as represented in the first image, this is usually the energy from other people's thoughts or emotions, which has accumulated in your aura, but usually other people's emotions will clear out when you ground. And what remains is the energy from other people's thoughts, because thoughts are air energy. So they don't usually wash out in the grounding. That's more other people's emotions, because emotion is water energy. So you can wash out emotion energy or dense emotional energy that's collected. But other people's thoughts, or even your negative thoughts, thought forms, they can collect in your auric space. And so another way to approach clearing those would be through intention and direction, and remembering that you're sovereign. And so nothing can be in your energy without permission. So you're just directing that energy to leave. And the affirmation for this, or the command that you give to your energy, the direction you give to your energy, is I bless and send home all outside energy in my energy field which does not belong to me. I bless and send home all outside energy in my energy field which does not belong to me. And sometimes people can get, oh, you know what I forgot to do, y'all, is I forgot to start my resins. I'm going to start the resins. Sometimes people can get really invasive in your space, psychically in your space. And while we're doing this component of it, we can request that anybody in your space that doesn't need to be in your space, please leave now. Requesting of their divine team to assist them, or your divine team to assist in escorting them out of your space. And a good way to see if someone is in your space psychically is ask the question, is there anybody in my psychic space? You might get a sense of just forms, like a few forms of people, but not anything specific about who it could be. Or you might really get to think of somebody and be like, oh, well, if that person came to mind, they're likely in your space. If they're people you don't know, it could be social media, it could be anything. Okay, so angels, please assist in clearing away anybody in my psychic space and facilitate them back to their own. And the reason I have a little picture of a sage stick here is because when you're working with sage, that's an air element, incense, and that air element helps clear air energy, and other people's thoughts is air energy. So when I say I incorporate shamanic technique, this is largely what I'm referring to. I incorporate the resins and gemstones and the elements. So blessing and sending home. Say it 3 times. I bless and send home all outside energy in my energy field, which doesn't belong to me. I'm going to check you, Chantel. A lot is leaving. Checking you, Angie. A lot is leaving. Checking you, Allison. Good. We're getting a lot out today. And a lot is leaving from you, Iris. Nice. A whole lot is leaving. Yeah. And Odelia, you look pretty clear. Odelia, I know you do this practice for yourself regularly. And this is a great exercise for refining your senses when perceiving energy, because you'll start to notice. It might not be as easy to notice when you do it for yourself, but it's really notable when you do it for someone else. Just viewing them or sensing them, you will get a sense of like stuff leaving. And then viewing them in astral, you just see lots of fragments just leaving in all different directions. Okay, so now I'm going to go to the next one. We're going to do our power recall, which is calling home your personal energy. Remembering that your thoughts are your energy, your emotions are your energy. And I mean, just think about all the thoughts you have in a day. So over a lifetime, how many thoughts you've had over a lifetime, like how much of your energy is out in the world, how many feelings you've had. That's a lot of your energy. So a lot of your energy is out in the world with different places and people, situations, and you can recall that. Now, when we do this exercise, you're not going to get 100% of it back, but you get a good large amount of it. The other approaches that we have will assist you in getting more of it back, but this is good for the psychic self-care component. So to call home your personal energy, again, you are sovereign, your energy is yours, it belongs to you, and it will respond instantly to your direction. So just call home your personal energy from wherever it may be. You're calling home your personal energy, and you're gathering it before you and clearing it before you take it back into your aura, because we tend to put out a lot of energy when we're upset or stressed or angry. You don't want to take it back that way. You don't want it to come back to you that way, because then you're just going to feel upset, stressed, and angry. Or if you had a lot of thoughts and emotions towards someone or about someone and it's been sitting in their energy, when you retrieve it, it's going to have that, it's going to be colored by their energy. It's going to have their vibrational stamp imprint on it. And you don't necessarily want to take it in like that either. You want it reset and purified to this reset and blessed as you take it back in. So you gather it before you, calling home all your personal energy, and you can visualize it's coming in streams of light. You just gather it all before you, and then you bless it, clear it. You can use Reiki, you can use golden healing light, you can ask your divine team, your angels and guides, to clear it and bless it, and then take it back into your energy. And sometimes there will be so much energy to get back that it can take a long time. You can get a lot of energy back. And when I do this exercise for people, sometimes I'll just continue on and just let you know, like, you're going to continue to receive your energy back, and your divine team will be there to monitor it and ensure that you do get it all back and that it's all cleared. So I'm going to check everybody. Chantel, you're still getting a lot of energy back. Angie, you got yours. Allison, I see a small stream of energy is kind of coming in for you from, it's almost like you've already gotten the bulk of your energy back, but there's just still like a little bit left that's coming in. Iris, it looks like you're getting a lot of your energy back. Beautiful. From all different directions. And Odelia, looks like you got yours back. And I see you in astral and you're giving me a thumbs up. Okay, beautiful. So when you visualize yourself in a sphere of light and the intention, or in a bubble, just imagine you're in a bubble. The intention is you're looking for any areas of damage that you may have to your aura. And remembering that your aura is made of delicate luminous fibers and they can be easily damaged. So it is good practice to do aura repair regularly, because if you get any damage to your aura, your energy can spill out, and then you could also easily absorb more energy from your environment. It's just harder to maintain energetic safety if you have any aura damage to any of the layers of your aura. So looking around in your aura for any damage. So I'm going to look at mine as demonstration, and I see myself in a bubble, and I'm getting an image of like kind of a bruise on the back side of my bubble. And what you're looking for are dark spots, tears. Sometimes there'll be whole missing pieces to your aura. And our society, there's so much in our society that's so harmful to the aura. You know, lighting, EMF, media, just everything is so hostile and abrasive, damaging to our energetic system, especially the more advanced you are. The more of an old soul you are, an advanced soul you are, the more sensitive your energetics are going to be to our harsh society and the energetics in our society. So even more of a reason to take care of your aura and want to do aura repair. When you find any areas in your aura that need to be repaired, it will reform on its own. You just want to clean off any debris that got on it, and then introducing some healing energy will help it to reform on its own too. So I see this bruise on the back side of my aura, so I'm just going to introduce some divine healing. I'm going to use some Reiki, some golden healing light. I'm going to direct it to just reform. So I have a big bruise on the back side of my aura. I do notice some little scratches kind of around the front of my aura. So I'm just, and the other thing too is when you're doing this work and you're speaking to your energy, speaking the language of energy using visualization, your energy is going to reveal to you in order of priority those areas that are in need of repair. So the first thing that I saw was a bruise on the back of my aura. That was the first thing I needed to address. The second thing I saw was some little scratches. That was the second thing I needed to address. Anything that you can perceive or that presents to you, you can clear, because your energy is going to show you what you can clear. Your energy is not going to show you what you cannot clear. So if that doesn't mean you found everything. If you do it all and then you don't see anything else, doesn't necessarily mean you got it all. It just means that's what you could clear. That's what you're in readiness to clear. So if you do a lot of clearing and then, let's say I go and look for you and I see something else, it doesn't mean you missed it. It just means that maybe you needed some support, some frequency support and helping hand to get it cleared. But once you clear any debris from it and direct it to reform, it will. It's like skin. When you get a cut on your skin can't heal if there's a bunch of dirt in it. You want to wash it. And then if you put some ointment on it, then it's going to help it to heal up. Your aura is very much the same way. You want to get the debris off, introduce the ointment. Only in this case, it would be the high frequency healing energy. So I'm going to check you guys. Chantal. When I look at you in astral, it looks like you're working on clearing some aura damage that's kind of down around your knees to your feet area. In astral, that's what you're doing with your divine team. You got it. Angie, I see some energy objects kind of behind you. Energy objects are those hard pieces of energy that people throw when they're angry. Yeah, pointing them out to you in astral with your divine team so you can pull them out. And then energy objects. These look like spears. It's just pulling them out. And then they leave a puncture. If people throw energy objects at you, it's going to damage your aura. So removing the energy objects, handing them to your divine team, and then directing those areas to reseal. There we go, Angie. That's much better. Allison looks good. You know what I'm hearing for you, Allison, from your angels? They're saying that you are ready for aura upgrade. So if you want to upgrade your aura, expand your aura, you can. And that'll happen too a lot when if you're able to get a lot of your personal energy back, then what you can do is you can expand your aura so you don't feel so confined. You don't want to feel restricted. You want to be able to give yourself enough space to hold your energy. Give yourself permission to take up space. Take up space. Take your power back, expand your aura, take up space. Do your aura upgrade, take up space. Iris, beautiful. Your aura is gorgeous. Beautiful. Odelia. You're ready for aura upgrade too, Odelia. I do see some shielding. Sometimes we put up a lot of shielding in our aura to protect our energy, just subconscious thing. It's just like affirming to release the shields. Because if we put up dense energy to protect us from outside energy, it's going to block our flow. And our flow is what keeps us safe. There we go. Beautiful, Odelia. Oh, beautiful, Odelia. You got it. All right. So now we're going to go to we're going to talk about the states of consciousness or states of awareness. And we're going to be bringing together science and spirituality for this. Okay, so we're going to bring together science and spirituality with this because we're talking about the different states of awareness. And these are brain waves, right? So these are your different states of consciousness. We've got gamma, beta, alpha, theta, and delta. And what is the significance of this? And what does this have to do with healing? So your 5 states of awareness, let's talk about beta first. Beta is your waking consciousness. I call it beta brain because your beta brain's that part of yourself that's like hypercritical. If we were to personify beta, your beta brain, it would be like you gotta do the dishes, make the bed, fold the laundry, drive the speed limit. It is not really very conducive to healing work. It's helping you with your survival, right? And then when you move from beta into alpha, that's when you have that intuitive shift. That would be light meditation. You're relaxed, you're calm, you're present. You know how I say breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth. That brings you into alpha. And the significance of this is if you're in the presence of somebody who's in alpha, it helps to bring you into alpha. That's why holding space can be so powerful and so healing. If you're just holding that alpha space for people, they can come into their alpha. You know, you get around someone who is just calm and peaceful. It makes you calm and peaceful. Theta is the next deepest level. And this is for your deep meditation. And you do have theta when you sleep and when you dream. And I put subconscious imagery in capital letters and bold because this is what you achieve when you're doing the visions that heal, when you're doing your vision journeys, or when you're doing visualization, you're speaking the language of energy. You're ideally in your theta consciousness, and that's where your deeper healing occurs. Now, the next deeper level of healing that occurs is in delta. Delta isn't necessarily achieved during awake, when you're awake. So it's not a waking consciousness. This is when you're sleeping. And you know how energy work will make you tired? You need like a power nap, or you need a good night's sleep, or you just feel really tired after doing energy work. That's because your body needs that delta time for the restorative component so it can integrate the healing that you need. And if you've ever done a healing visualization or meditation for yourself and you fall asleep while you're doing your healing visualization or meditation or receiving a healing, or if you're giving a healing and the person you're giving a healing to falls asleep, they're going into delta. And that's good. That's excellent because that's where the deepest healing occurs. And then there's gamma. So beta and gamma, those are more of our waking consciousness. I think of gamma as genius mode. That's just how I associate it. But that's more because beta's like those day-to-day thinking, whereas gamma is more like, so beta's like zoomed in critical thinking and focused on the details, whereas gamma is zoomed out and seeing the broader picture, problem solving, and putting everything together, learning. So your brain's making those connections. You're hyper concentrated, hyper aware. You just those moments where you have that really solid clarity or focus or ability to understand something, that's your gamma. And that's why I call it genius mode. Because it's all coming together. It's all coming together with gamma. But so here's what's important to understand about your states of awareness is that beta will totally get in the way of your healing if you want to do some healing work for yourself or for others, or if you find that you're just overthinking a lot, or you're stressed out a lot, or you're anxious a lot. That's because beta brain has been running the show. Beta brain's critical, beta brain's doubtful, beta brain doesn't have any desire for anything intuitive because it just gets in the way of getting the job done. Beta just wants to get the job done. So if we were to personify these levels of awareness, I think of beta as like the parent who's just got to make sure everything's in order and gets done. We need beta, right? Otherwise, the bills wouldn't get paid. We wouldn't make the bed. We wouldn't do the dishes. We wouldn't make our food. We wouldn't drive the speed limit. We need beta, in this world. Alpha, I think of alpha sort of childlike, because if you're always in an alpha state of consciousness, all you're going to want to do is like paint a picture and be like, oh, look at how pretty the raindrops look going down the window. And you wouldn't really get anything done. You'd be too busy just sort of off in this dreamlike state. So to personify alpha, I think of alpha kind of like the child artist. Because alpha is kind of in its wonderment, in the now, in the present, in that creative space, and in that receptive space, and in a relaxed, peaceful space. Theta, I think of, if we were to personify theta, I think of theta like your higher self, the guru, you know. Theta is, in a sense, your access to your higher self and the information, the stream of information that comes in from your higher self occurs in theta. And also from your divine team, from your angels and guides. It's in this state, alpha and theta, where you can receive messages from your energy, perceive energy, and also receive messages from your higher self and your angels and guides. Beta would be like probably more ego, right? And then alpha and theta, that would be your more your spiritual self. So alpha and theta are the goal for communicating with your divine team, for energy work, and for speaking the language of energy. And then delta is good for integrating. So these are your states of awareness. How to achieve alpha and theta. So breath work's great for achieving alpha and theta, and you hear about that in meditation. That's why I tell you breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth will help to bring you into your alpha. What I've noticed is that in working with clients and healing and working my clients through visualization or into their healing, we start in alpha, and then as we go deeper, we go into theta. Now, resins will shift your awareness, help to shift you out of beta into alpha or theta. Some resins more so than others. And that is why I like frankincense and myrrh, because they are wonderful at shifting it. And I'm going to burn some more frankincense and myrrh. Okay, I just did some golden benzoin too. Now I'm going to do some frankincense and myrrh. So this is where you receive your messages from your divine team of angels and guides. This is where you access astral for energy work and healing. And this is where you speak the language of energy via visualization, alpha and theta with astral. So if we're going to tie in alpha and theta with astral, this is, of course, where it comes in. So I'm going to share with you the story of when I discovered this shift in a conscious way. I was in my 20s. I'm 48 now. I was in my 20s and I was working for the psychic hotlines. I don't know if you remember that or if you're old enough to remember, but back in the late 90s, early 2000s, the psychic hotlines are a big thing. Call Miss Cleo. Remember Miss Cleo? And I worked for the psychic hotlines. I had already been reading the cards since I was like 16. And I started working for the psychic hotlines in my 20s, early 20s. I think I was 20 when I first started. And I really wanted to do my best. I wanted to give the best readings possible. And my mentor at the time, she was just a really incredible psychic and medium. And she told me, when you use the cards, never use the book. Throw away the book. Don't even look at the book. And I was like, what do you mean don't even look at the book? I mean, they're universal interpretation. She's like, no, don't even look, never look at the book. You get a deck of cards, throw away the book. And she was really adamant about it. She was like, oh, only novices use the book. So I was like, okay. So I threw away the book. And then she says, what you do before you give any reading is you close your eyes, breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth, and you count down either from 10 or from 5. If you really struggle getting out of beta, count down from 10. You set intention. Okay, on the count of 1, I'm going to open my eyes and give my client, the person's name, the most accurate insight, advice, and guidance possible for their greatest and highest good. That would be my intention. So I'd be like 5, breathe in through my nose, out through my mouth. 4, but basically like self-hypnotizing yourself, right? And then 3, I would affirm again at 3. On the count of 1, I'm going to open my eyes, give them the most accurate insight, advice, and guidance possible. 2, 1, boom. And as I would open my eyes on 1, and I would feel such a noticeable shift every time. And it got to the point where I would be able to achieve that shift pretty much just on demand, because you do it often enough and you can shift on demand. It got to the point where all I would have to do is just pick up my cards and start shuffling them, and boom, I would shift on demand. I would feel my shift, my consciousness shift. And as a healer, because I don't really read the cards anymore, but one thing that I did gain from the cards was that I learned to speak the language of symbolism. You throw away the book, you achieve your shift in awareness, you look at the cards, you see the story in the cards will tell you the story. You learn to speak the language of symbolism, which is the language of energy, which is what I teach in working in astral and clearing yourself and healing yourself. So now, as a healer, I get my shift. I light my resins. I burn the frankincense and myrrh, which will assist you in facilitating the shift. And instantly, boom, I start to move into alpha. And you do too. We start to breathe in through our nose, out through our mouth. We set intention. You're starting to move into alpha. When we do the deeper themed healing work, you start to go deeper into theta. So, all that said, if you struggle in, say, one of your visions that heal, your vision journeys, or any of the themes that we do in seeing your visualization, it may be that beta is demanding. Beta brain is so demanding. Brain does not want to give up control. So usually what I'll do is I'll that's why we do our techniques to calm beta down, because beta's hyper vigilant. He just wants to keep you safe, wants to make sure, he's got FOMO. He's got to know everything that's going on. But if you can just get beta to calm down, your beta brain to calm down, shift over into alpha, and then once you're in alpha, the next step is going to be theta. It's easier, and the resins help. So I'm going to show you about the frankincense and myrrh. I'm going to share with you some of the resins and their uses and what I've learned about them. Frankincense and myrrh. are my favorite combo for shifting my awareness, shifting into alpha. And frankincense will thin the veil and make it easier for you to perceive your angels and guides. So if you want to connect with your angels and guides, frankincense and myrrh are great for it. Frankincense thins the veil, myrrh raises the frequency, and brings you into alpha. So what else did I put? Okay, so we've got golden benzoin. You know, it smells a lot like amber. Amber is super expensive, but golden benzoin smells like amber. It's expensive too, but it smells incredible. If you've never worked with it, it's so amazing. It's comforting. It's a blessing. It'll purify and relax. So again, another one that'll help bring you into alpha. And then there's copal. I love copal for cleansing stones and crystals. It's a soft resin. You can break it easily. It's a gentle healer. And I have noticed that it's especially useful for clearing the sacral chakra and the third eye chakra. I love copal. I use it a lot. It's a very nice one. Yerba Santa. You know, I just learned today that the name means holy herb or sacred herb in Spanish. I never knew that. But I love Yerba Santa. I've always loved Yerba Santa. And I noticed working with it that it helps in clearing grief from the heart chakra, or it helps release those stored emotional blocks and create spiritual protection. And it's so cool because I noticed that working with it. And then when I was researching it to see if there's anything else I should add about it, I read that it releases grief. And I'm like, wow, I noticed that. Palo Santo. And it's becoming more and more popular, also known as holy wood. I call it a big gun because it will clear invasive energies, entities, and attachments. Sage won't. Palo Santo will. And it's great for stubborn energy blocks and for space clearing. But it is over harvested because it's becoming so popular. So you want to be mindful in your use. And a little does go a very long way. A very, very long way. I only do product every so often, as you know. And this is the resin kit. This comes in this box with the blessing symbol. This is selenite. So we've got the yerba santa, the golden benzoin, copal, frankincense and myrrh, and palo santo. And I have them wax sealed too. I did that with the beeswax. I was all proud because the little corks, I didn't want them to fall off. So I did a beeswax wax seal for the corks. Now, these sets, and then of course the selenite, because you got to have a selenite. So anytime someone orders from me, I have a huge box of cards, of tarot cards, and I reach in with intention and I pull whatever card I'm guided to pull, and then I include it for you. So you get a card pull too. This box just holds the resins. But in addition to that, there's also the tongs and your blessing bowl. So if you're using resins, and if you already use resins, you know what I mean. And if you don't use resins, then I'm going to share with you now how to use resins. You want a blessing bowl. This is mine. And you want it to be on a heat-safe surface. This blessing bowl that comes with this set also has a little pad that you can set it on. But I do recommend putting salt or sand in your blessing bowl. And also comes with 2 rolls of charcoal and your tongs so that you can not burn your fingers when you're lighting your charcoal and adding it to your blessing bowl. And so I do have one large box available that holds all of it. I was debating if I should offer it in large box or small box. The large box is pretty cool because it holds everything, as you can see. So I have one of these available. But the small one comes with the blessing bowl, the tongs, and the charcoal. So you know. And if you don't need all of that, but you would like to have a refill of your resins, I do have the resin refills. that I'll be offering too. Because you guys have been asking for a while now and I'm just now getting to it. But that's what I have for the resin kits. But I just want to say one more thing about the resins. Working with resins will take your healing to the next level for yourself or for others. And I'm so glad that I discovered this for myself. And I've even had I had one client, this is such a funny story. I had one client, she was one of those regular clients. She was always needing clearing. Because she had toxic lifestyle and she made toxic lifestyle choices and she always ended up getting her energy wrecked and she was always scheduling with me. And she ordered a kit from me and she started burning resins for herself. She stopped needing to get regular clearings from me because the resins, just her burning the resins for herself whenever she felt like energetically jacked was enough for her. And I was happy for her for that because it was empowering because our goal as healers, right, is to empower you, or empower our clients, empower others in ways that they can be taking care of their own energy. So anyway, I thought I'd share that story with you. Any questions? Any questions, comments, feedback, anything?
Are those available on your website already?
And they're not on my website yet. I was just going to show them to you because I barely got them and got them put together, but I will put them on my website. And if you, I've looked over the years for them to just be able to get them to where they're not going to cost $1 billion, but still be sacred, you know? I'm really pleased with these because these are terracotta. You can see they're terracotta with a nice glaze and they are a good size. And I think it's pretty cool too that it comes with a little mat that you can set it on. I still recommend putting some salt or sand in it just to kind of help too, because it gets so hot with the charcoal. And if you go crazy with the resins, which I tend to do. And then also next week we're going to be talking a lot about our different guides and communicating with our guides. But it was good that we had this as a basis so that you can start to think about when you're in beta and when you need to be in alpha, and when you're in alpha, you need to be in beta. Some of us use substance to get out of beta, to shut beta up. And that was something I kind of wanted to mention is, you know, some of our betas will get so demanding and overbearing that we'll want to use a substance to just quiet the beta brain. But when you overuse, if you rely on a substance to quiet the beta brain, then that can create kind of a distortion with your access to your alpha and your theta too. So, I mean, everything has its medicine and everything has its purpose and place, but in moderation, of course. So, I did want to mention that, like, we do have lifestyle practices to shut the beta up. Oh, that was one more thing I wanted to mention. This is how I manage my beta brain. So this is what I do for myself. I tell my your beta brain's like really gonna just second guess and doubt everything. So I tell my beta brain, okay, because what's a beta brain want to do? It wants to quantify and analyze information. That's just the brain loves to do that. Well, but it'll interfere if you're trying to do any vision journeying or any communication with your angels and guides, right? Because you might hear your divine team give you a message. What's your beta brain going to do? Your beta brain's going to say, I'm making this up. This is all in your head. You're crazy. Was that really your angels? Was that really your guide? Right? The beta is going to have a lot to say about that. The beta is going to be really uncomfortable with that. And your alpha state is not even going to be able to receive that message if the beta is like, it's almost like me having my 6-year-old like making all this noise in the background, trying to hear your angels and guides and your higher self. And you just have all this noise in the background and can't hear it. So I tell my beta brain, I call it beta brain, okay, I'm just going to play an imagination world. Because if you tell beta play, beta's like, oh, okay, playtime. Beta doesn't have any business in playtime. Beta doesn't really care much about playtime. So I'm going to play an imagination world. Beta hears imagination and beta's like, oh, okay, I'm off duty. So those two words, play and imagination, signal to beta brain, off duty. But to make beta brain even more happy, I'll tell my beta brain, but when I'm done, you can like analyze all the information that I got or everything that I did while I was in imagination world or everything that happens afterwards. And then beta brain's like even more happy to be off duty because it can look forward to something when it comes back on to duty. And that's going to help you when you're doing this work, especially if you're new to doing this work or if you feel like if you struggle with doubting yourself because because you can do this work in visualization, work in astral, do the work in astral. Do you get shifts? Well, your beta is going to be really happy to come back and be like, I'm noticing this change, I'm noticing that change, or I'm not noticing this change, or I'm not noticing that change. But this is all useful information, and this is where beta can really serve to help you, is to help you quantify and provide you with those validation and your results and confirmation of your results. Or know if you need to modify, if you are or aren't getting results. Your beta can really help you with identifying that. But in the meantime, if you're trying to do energy work, beta is just going to get in the way. So we need beta to go off duty while you're doing the work and then come back on duty when you're done doing the work. And I've had so many instances giving readings to clients. You know, when I was new with this, especially, I had one client. Her guides were telling me it was always like the weirdest thing. Like her guides were really focused on pointing out her son's testicles, and I was like, I'm not going to talk to this client about her son's testicles. This is not going to happen. And I was young. I was like, you know, in my 20s, and I didn't have the confidence. And my beta brain was like, you're really imagining some weird stuff right now. But thankfully, her guides were loud enough and clear enough and insistent enough that I did finally say something. And she was so glad because her son had been struggling with testicular cancer and one of her main worries. And so she was so relieved to hear that he would have a full recovery. And that was one of the biggest messages that her guides had for her. If I would have listened to my beta brain, just really like, this is awkward, I'm not going to talk to this. I was always really awkward and intimidated. Always a super powerful psychic, but always too awkward and intimidated and timid to speak. Thankfully, I can feel more comfortable in communicating now, but at the time it was real hard for me. But I'm glad that I did because she needed that message. But that's just an example of how we can second guess ourselves. Of course, we're going to second guess ourselves if something like that comes up in a reading, right? Or anything along those lines. But always trust. But if the more in alpha you are, the more off duty beta is, the more you can just trust. And the more you can trust, the more open to that just flow of information coming in from your divine team and from your client's divine team too. And the more in your mastery, understanding your alpha and your beta and your theta states and your gamma and the delta, understanding all of them, but knowing how to keep beta in check and go into alpha and theta at will and hold alpha for others is really going to support you in your mastery as a healer for yourself or for others and both. So there's my little last thoughts. And I love you guys. And thank you. Thank you, sisters, for showing up. And I will see you next week.